Hello.
Hello, you.
Welcome to a new video.
What are we doing?
We are explaining how we're going to book our holiday, or how we have booked our holiday for 2021.
Yeah, we've got something booked already.
We do. So we are, as you might know, we're due to go to LA in February. So we're in the process of rearranging that. We have some sort of idea when we might go, but that is the messy situation, which is rebooking a holiday. But today's video is about how we've booked our 2021 Orlando trip. So we're going to take you through how we did it, what we had to think about, how much it cost, what dates we're going, what websites we used. So this is though how we do it and how we've booked it, and we're not recommending you do any of the things we've done. It's just for information only.
All the websites that we make reference to we'll leave in the description down below, so don't need to take notes. If you were going to take notes, all the details will be downstairs.
Gosh, it's like a lesson. Back to school. So the first thing is when are we going? So the sort of things we had to think about was school holidays. So previously I worked within a school, so I had to think about school holidays. I could only go during school holidays time. Now I don't. We're free.
Yeah, it makes it more flexible, although we can't go in September.
Yeah, so I still work for a education charity, so it means I can't go in the first week of September. So that's kind of thrown us a little bit about when we can go.
Also, as you mentioned, we've got LA booked, so we need to use up those dates for that trip. And our holiday years don't start at the same time at work. Mine starts in April and runs through to the following March.
And mine is September to August, so it follows the school year. So that also makes it a bit complicated. So when I've got holiday left over and Ian's might have just started, or the opposite way around. So that was quite confusing.
So that does mean for 2021, we cannot go before September.
Yeah, and that is just because we've run out of holiday days. I've run out of holiday days.
So we're not going to Walt Disney World before September 2021.
That's very true. Other things we need to think about is COVID. So we didn't want to go too early.
What's COVID?
We didn't want to go too early in the year. So we didn't want to book for say like May or June and then have to just rebook again. So we are thinking later in the year. And then the last thing we had to consider was when flights are available, because we're going to be using Miles or Avios to book our flights. So there were all the things we had to consider. So there was quite a few things to go through and think about before booking. So with all that in mind, we ended up with the month of October.
Which you're going, that's crazy, because that's the 50th anniversary month. It's going to be crazy busy.
It is.
Yes, it is going to be crazy busy, but we're not going to be there for the 50th.
No, we're going to go a few days after the 50th. So that should mean it's a little bit quieter. But the school holidays aren't happening, so all the kids will be in school. And hopefully the parks will be fully open because we've all had our jabs or been vaccinated and all of that type of jazz.
Ultimately, we had no choice. Couldn't do it before September, couldn't do it in September, and then waiting to November or December just felt like it was just going to do our heads in. So October was the dates we had to prompt for.
So the thing what prompted us to start thinking about booking was we were watching a Stranger Couple vlog with Scott and Yaz. And they were talking about booking for next year and how once the borders are reopened, prices might go up and all of those sort of things. It got us thinking and we're like, okay, we should do something.
Yeah, so we booked. We've got 2 weeks in October.
We're going to be flying with British Airways and we will be staying on property for a handful of nights and then in a villa for the rest of the time.
If you've seen us in vlogs, you know that we like to wash our pants while we're away. Also because we're mainly there in August and it's really super sweaty and hot. So I know October won't be as bad, but also I don't have clothes for 2 weeks without having to wash clothes. So having a villa where you can do your laundry and you have more space just seemed like the best option. So we're going to continue with that.
Booking the flights, we've got a few notes down here. Cheat sheets, because it is quite complicated booking a holiday. It is not that straightforward. We use the British Airways website. We'd been saving Avios points for quite some time because we'd not been on holiday for a while. So all the points we save by spending on our credit card, which we'll talk about, had sort of, what do you call it?
Accumulated.
That's the word.
It's a big accumulator. It's a 2020 accumulator.
So we had quite a few air miles, and so we headed to the BA website and started looking for October flights. On the website, you literally say you want to book with miles, and we also had a 2-for-1 voucher, which meant that if you booked one flight, you got one flight for free, but you had to pay for the taxes. So our flights were booked using the buy one get one free voucher plus air miles. So it should have been quite a good deal.
Yeah, and as we're going to go through how we get the air miles that we get once we've gone through the booking process.
So we got our BA companion voucher on there. We put in London to Orlando, and then you obviously select your dates. So our dates are for October. So there we are, October. So October the 2nd, Saturday to Saturday, make use of the weekends. And we really wanted to fly business or Club World. And then on there you can see that there's no flights available on the 2nd of October. So it prompts you to try the day after or the day before. So we're looking at Sunday the 3rd. There's some business class seats available there. And then coming back on the Saturday, there's no flight. So we're looking on the Sunday. And you can see there's 5 business class seats available at the time we were filming this. Put in all that information and it gives you the price as well as the amount of Avios. So we're roughly paying, because this isn't our booking, this is just to show you guys, but when we were booking, it's around £1,300 for 2 of us, plus the Avios, return flights in business, which we think is pretty much a pretty good bargain. It's not terrible.
So 2 standard business class, i.e. Club World seats for British Airways, for those dates if you're paying cash, would cost you this amount.
£3,699.76. So in comparison, it's £2,000 less, and you're flying business. Now we probably could fly a lot cheaper if we flew economy, but
we're too big for seats. They're too fat.
My bum won't fit.
Too fat.
My bum won't fit in a seat for 9 hours. So, and we could book premium. But I often think the price difference between premium and business is marginal sometimes. So actually going for the business seats is worthwhile.
So just by comparison, if you were to do 2 return economy flights on those same dates for British Airways, it will cost you
£853.76. So it is significantly cheaper. It's £500 cheaper or £250 each cheaper to fly economy, but it's a totally different experience.
And for the sake of an extra 250 quid, because we've got those Avios, then for us it's a bit of a no-brainer that why would we not want to pay that little bit extra when you're going 2 classes above and you get a bed and you get access to lounge, and it just makes it a much more enjoyable experience. So that's why we've opted to try and push those miles as much as we can and use it for the business class seat.
So collecting Avios, obviously you collect them through flying. So when you fly and pay for a flight, you'll get Avios points for that flight. Other ways of collecting them include the British Airways American Express card. Now, we're not at all saying people should go and get a credit card, because it's a really significant life choice, and you should really consider your circumstances before going and getting a credit card. But we use it as if it was our debit card. So we don't use our debit cards, we use our credit cards, and then we pay it off every single month, which is really a sensible thing to do.
Yeah, you have to think of this as a way of getting into debt. So none of us want to get into debt. 2020 has taken a massive hit on people's finances, and 2021 probably won't be much different. So you need to bear in mind that if you do not pay off this card every month with American Express, I think the interest rate is about 79%, which is absolutely ridiculous. So you need to set up a direct debit to pay off the card in full every month. And as David said, we use this for every bit of shopping we can do that we can put on a card. Food shopping, anything Amazon,
Disney.
Yeah, anything that you can't pay with a direct debit, we put on our American Express, and we pay it off in full every month, and you get at least 1 mile for every pound that you spend.
So we both have a card, so we both have our individual accounts, we both do our own individual spending, but when you refer another person, you get bonus miles. So if Ian got the card and referred me, or I referred Ian when we first got it, we'd get a load of bonus miles. You get bonus miles for spending so much a year, so much in the first 3 months. The deals change every so often, so do check what they are right now. But the big thing is you get that companion voucher, the buy one get one free voucher, which you get every single, I think it's every 10 months or 12 months.
I think it depends on how much you spend. You can get one a year, but there's a minimum spend, which also changes depending on which card you've got. So once you've got that, you don't have to spend it on business class. You don't have to have any Avios. You can literally buy an economy flight, and then you can get another economy flight by just paying the taxes.
Yeah. And you can see, like, those flights we've got, it saved us around £2,000 using Avios and the buy one get one free card, and that's just one holiday where we've made that saving.
If you've got a British Airways account, which you need to have in order to make your booking, you get a British Airways Executive Club number, and that's what we're talking about. It's that BA number that will then earn you Avios. And you can earn points by going to the British Airways Executive Club app, and on there, as I've said in a previous vlog, you can look at shops, and if you go to those shops via the app, you make a purchase, you can then get yourself some more miles. And if you don't have an app, or you don't have a phone to use an app, you can also use the British Airways Executive website.
Yeah.
Exactly the same way. And the good thing about that is that when you book for Walt Disney World and make a spend on British Airways, you get more than just 1 mile for every pound that you spend.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And all of this holiday has been purchased using our British Airways American Express card. So we're spending miles, but also earning them while we're spending them. So it is really, really good. But you should only do it if you're in the position to be taking out a credit card and all of that jazz. Don't go getting into debt.
This is just a way of making the current money you've got work for you smarter. It's not about getting you into debt.
Yeah.
So if you think of using the American Express as a debit card, you have to have that cash in your pocket before you make that spend.
Yeah, 100%.
You should not be making spends just to meet the target of getting additional miles. That's not what we do, and we would never advocate anyone does that. But you can also use your PayPal account and link it to your American Express. So if you make any payments, or make any purchases rather, on your PayPal account, it will come straight out of your American Express rather than your option for your debit card or your bank account.
That's a good tip. So that's our flights booked, and that is literally picking the dates and booking our flights is always the first thing we do. That's where we start. The next thing is to start thinking about where we want to stay. Now, we've stayed on site at Walt Disney World quite a few times. We're a bit addicted to wanting to at least stay there a couple of nights when we go.
You get the benefit of as you did at the time, booking your fast passes 60 days out. There ain't no fast passes right now at the time of recording. And you used to get, you used to get your meals paid for. There ain't no meals at the moment.
Well, the dates we're picking, October, none of the deals are available for. If we decide to go in September or August, they were giving free nights and gift cards and all of that stuff. So it is always worth, when you're picking your dates, if that stuff's really important to you, also check what promotions are going off at Walt Disney World before you confirm your flights. For us, that wasn't so much of a big thing. Like, the food's nice to have and the vouchers are nice to have, but it's not a deciding factor of when we would go.
As we said, we couldn't go any time before September, so we knew that we weren't going to get those deals. But if Walt Disney World do introduce those deals, my understanding is if you ring up and say I've already got a booking, they will then honour those new deals that they brought on board.
That's really cool.
So I'm hoping something will come on board between now and when we go, in which case we'll be on that blower saying, can you give us these extra deals, please?
So if we take those dates of the 3rd of October and then we start thinking about when we might stay on property, what I tend to do, and I took the lead on this, was I put in those dates and then I'll put in a week's booking onto the Walt Disney World website. So I'll put in 7 days and I'll see what hotels come up for 7 days at Walt Disney World. So that's half our trip, so we're going for 14 nights, 7 of those nights at the thing. And then I'll look at the price and I'll go, actually, that's probably a little bit out of budget. So what's the cheapest hotel for 7 nights? We'll have a chat about whether we want to stay at that hotel. So you talking Pop Century or one of the music resorts or the sports, the All Stars, and we'll probably go, actually, if this is our big blowout holiday for the year, we probably want to be staying somewhere where we have stayed before and really want to stay again, which is Coronado Springs. So
we are nothing but creatures of habit.
100%.
I love Coronado.
It is so beautiful. That tower is just so stunning and the rooms are fantastic. It's so calm. It's not as crazy as some of the other resorts. Like, there's not so much going off. But what we'll do is then take those 7 days down to 6 days, look at the price, 5 days, 4 days, etc., and start playing around with the dates, and then we'll add the 14-day ticket on. So we got the 7-day for 14 days, if that makes sense. So you pay for 7 days worth of ticket,
And they give you the 14.
and they give you 14 days.
Classic.
But actually, it's not a huge saving. It's not like double the price. You're getting half the price. It's not like that. It's about 30-40 quid, I think. It's not a huge difference. So we ended up going for Coronado Springs for 5 nights in a standard room in one of the it's like cabana type rooms.
Casitas or cabanas.
Casitas, yeah.
We've been there before. There'll be a link up there or downstairs.
We'll show you the rooms.
Creature of habit.
And that came out, which is quite expensive, I think. £1,964.40.
So that's including park ticket for 2 weeks.
That's including the park tickets. Now, what we'll do when we get there, if the world is in a bit more of a less crazy place, we'll probably upgrade to annual passes, because knowing we will go back, that will save us some money on our annual passes, or we'd paid a deposit towards our annual passes for that trip. But yeah, that's quite expensive. So that's for 5 nights and 2 weeks worth of tickets. But like I say, there's no deals, there's no special offers, there's nothing to be had. I also compared it with attraction tickets and some of the other booking places, and actually they were coming out more expensive for October than actually booking directly with Walt Disney World. So that's our flights now and our hotel. So that's 5 nights sorted.
What about the other second week? I'm not living in a car.
So for the second week, or for the remaining 9 nights, we book a villa. And we've always done that through a website called Home and Away, and that was recommended to us back in 2015 when we first started going. But Home and Away is now turned into VRBO. Verbo. Exactly the same website. My logging for Home and Away works on that website. All my old bookings are still on there, so it's just changed its name. And we'll search for Windsor Hills, which is a development just south of the 192. It's about 10 minutes from Animal Kingdom. Not much longer to the rest of the other parks.
It's one of the nearest. It's one of the nearest places to the parks, and we've stayed there many a time.
Yeah,
we love it. It's very clean. It's a gated community. Feels very safe. You've got the shops down the road, just off the 192, as David said. Yeah, we love it.
Bob Evans is around the corner, and Walmart. If we can't get in there, there's a resort across the road which is much smaller, called Oakwater, and actually there's a lot more permanent residents who stay in Oakwater. There's a lot more families who live there all year, and it's their main home. But that is also very cute, and we stayed there last year, so we can link that in for you, and you can have a look at what that's like. So we look at those 2 places. Windsor Hills are more expensive out of the 2. Oakwater is the cheaper resort, and we managed to find. We're not into like swimming pools. You'll notice we never go to swimming parks.
Hell no.
Swimming pools are not our thing. So we're not looking for a house or a villa with a swimming pool. We're quite happy with an apartment. But we do want laundry, and we do want more than 1 bedroom, because we want suitcase space.
Also want a second bathroom, because when you're on
I'm not
holiday,
sharing with him.
it's just more practical. You can both shower at the same time.
Yeah.
It means you can just get out and do stuff rather
Yeah.
than waiting for the other person to finish in the bathroom.
So Oakwater and Windsor Hills do really nice 2 or 3 bedroom apartments, and we found a 2 bedroom at Oakwater using the Verbo website, and that came out at, so the actual apartment itself came out at £731, and that is for an extra night as well. So that's, we often, if we're leaving on a Sunday, we'll book the apartment till the Monday, because for the sake of what is it, $70 or £70, you can stay in that villa right up to the point you need to go to the airport.
There's nothing worse on that last day when you've got to get out of your villa by 10 o'clock in the morning, and your flight is not till 7 o'clock at night. Particularly in the hot August sun, you've got all your suitcases with your chocolate and everything, and your toiletries in your car. You can't leave your car unattended. So in effect, you kind of lose that last day. So we kind of negate that by booking the apartment for an extra day.
Yeah.
Which means we can leave the apartment at 2 in the afternoon, just have a shower just before we leave, so we're all fresh for the plane.
So good. It's so nice.
You've got that final morning to do your packing, so you get the night before to then enjoy yourself in a park or whatever. So for the sake of an extra $70, we book for the day that we're leaving rather than the day before.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, I think it does. So that came out at £731. On top of that, you've got quite a few different fees. So you've got your cleaning fee, your state tax. There's lots and lots of things we'll add on top. So the final cost was $1,128, which actually works out at £840, which I thought was really, really cool.
Well, if you think Coronado plus park tickets is 1,900, I know that's with park tickets.
For 5 days.
This is half of that for almost twice as much.
We did have some issues with the apartment. So we booked the apartment, we paid the deposit, and then a couple of weeks after we booked it, we had a phone call from Florida, and there was this lady who stated that someone had booked this apartment for 6 months, and it goes across our booking. So we're there for 10 days in the middle of this 6 months. So they put us into this like massive house instead.
I thought she was doing us a favour. She's like, we've got the best property. It's right near the clubhouse. You can walk out.
We're so ungrateful.
Swimming pool's there. It's got 4 bedrooms, jacuzzi, a rocket to the moon. All this amazing stuff that we didn't really want.
Outdoor kitchen.
And the person who made the 6-month booking was going to pay the difference, which is very sweet of them, and it was a very nice thing to do. But we're like, we don't want to stay there. We wanted to stay in the place we booked.
Yeah, because it's just the two of us, we don't want to be rattling around in a massive house, and we certainly don't want to look onto the swimming pool. That's like our worst nightmare. Like we want to be as furthest away from the swimming pool as possible.
All that noise.
We're such old people. I was emailing backwards and forwards, and we came to an agreement on another apartment, which looks really beautiful actually. It's again 3 bedrooms, very similar to what we've had before, but the furniture looks really nice, and so we settled on that, which is great. But it was a bit weird that you book something, pay the deposit, and then they go, actually we've given it to someone else. Yeah, bit dodge, but hopefully it'll all be fine. We've got all the booking information and like how the code to the house. It will be
fine. If we get there, we won't care where we're staying.
No, we'll just be so happy we're there.
Also, the good thing about Verbo is that also on the British Airways Executive Club shopping website or app, you can actually earn additional Avios points by booking it if you go via that website to land on the Verbo website. So we did that. So I think it's an extra, I want to say it's extra 5 miles for every pound we've spent with those. So that's another cool. 4,000 Avios that we've clicked up just by going through that site to get to the Verbo website.
So for the 2 weeks we will rent a car. We'll have a car for the full 2 weeks. Because we'll upgrade our park tickets to annual passes, it means we will get parking included as part of our booking at the Disney parks, which can often save you around $20 a day parking fee. So it all kind of, you have to work out whether an annual pass is right for you or not. If you're a big merch person and you go like eating at the restaurants and buying lots of pins or ears, then an annual pass is probably for you. But if you're not someone who spends that much money in the parks and you're not using a car, I can't see there's huge benefits to having it that much. We will have a car for 2 weeks. You deal with, I don't drive, so you deal with all the parking. And parking, car hiring.
We use a company called US Car Hire. They've got an app and they've got a website. This is what the app looks like. So we booked a standard SUV for 2 weeks, and it's costing us £425 plus some change. That's £425 for 14 days worth of car.
Is that fully comped as well, or will that be on top?
No, that's with the insurance. What it doesn't include is roadside assistance if you lock yourself out or you put the wrong type of petrol in or have a puncture.
Oh God.
So you can pay an extra £35 for that green flag type roadside assistance, which I've done. Now the good thing about US Car Hire is that when you make your booking, you've only got to pay a deposit of £35.
That's really good.
The rest of it you need to pay 8 weeks before. And they normally send you an email, and on a previous trip I totally forgot about that 8-week window and I paid 3 weeks before and they were absolutely fine with it. But I wouldn't want to take the mickey. So yeah, just diarise a little notification, 8 weeks before you need to pay the difference. But it does trawl through all the car hire places, so it's not just Alamo, it's Alamo, Sixt,
Poundland,
Dollar, Rent a Dollar, all those cars. And then from that, it's often got the same car but for different prices, because I think they have so many of each car in each price bracket.
Oh, wow.
So the earlier you book, obviously the cheaper it is, and then also you can choose whether you want to go with Dollar, Alamo, And we want to go with Alamo because you can pick the car from the choice of cars that are there rather than them giving you one.
The worst experience we've ever had with car rental is Dollar, which we'll never use again. But Alamo, what's the one begins with H?
Hertz.
Hertz is pretty good. But yeah, we use that app, and I think 400 odd quid for 14 days with a car is just crazy. We rent cars in the UK quite a bit, and it's just not comparable. I mean, the price difference is massive.
425 quid for, I mean, I appreciate I'm booking it 11 months out, which is when I did this. But that's for a proper standard SUV, which is enough for suitcases, enough for 5 people. It's big enough for us. It's a big car, and we can choose which one we want when we get there. So that's why I use US car hire, paid £35 deposit, also paid £35 up front for the additional breakdown cover, should I be foolish enough to have an issue with putting the wrong petrol in.
So the last thing to sort of really say is everything we've booked can be cancelled, and we can get full refunds, or we can change the dates on everything. Nothing we've booked we would lose money on. So that's really, really important at the moment. That was really important for us, that if we were booking things in 2021, we needed the reassurance to know that we could change it or we could get our money back. We booked with Virgin last year, or 2020, depending when you watch this, and it was 3 months to get our flight money back. It wasn't like we were waiting on that money, but we needed that money to book another holiday. We didn't obviously have money lying around to book another trip without that money, so that was really inconvenient this year, having to wait so long for the money. But everything for 2021 is either we can cancel or we can rebook. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't get insurance.
No, you should get insurance from the moment you make your booking, because then your booking is covered. Don't wait until the day before you fly.
Yeah.
Because by that point, as a number of people found out in 2020, you don't have insurance, you don't actually get anything back. So make sure you book your insurance the day you book the first part of your trip.
Yeah. And you know, if you're booking with a credit card, it's often safer to book with a credit card. It's easier to get your money back if you're booking with a credit card as well. So do bear that in mind.
And if it's British Airways, American Express, and you go through the executive club, you can get those deals where you get the additional points for your shopping, for insurance, your trip, your accommodation, your car hire, although US car hire isn't on there, but all the other things are, and you can just see those air miles rack up, and you can put it towards another trip.
So another thing to bear in mind when we plan our holidays is just the two of us, and it's quite different if you were planning a holiday for a family of 4 or a family of 5, or you know, we're based in London as well, which also has its advantages regarding flights and the 2 airports, and there is those things to consider, so we don't have so much cost in getting to London and flying from Heathrow or Gatwick. So I think all of the things and information we've shared today is based on obviously 2 people, a couple flying rather than a family, and I think that's really important to bear in mind. The total cost of the holiday would be £4,626.58. That for each of us is £2,313.29. So like, it is quite an expensive holiday compared to holidays we've had before, and I think the thing what makes it more expensive is that booking at Coronado Springs, and it could be done a lot cheaper. But if it is your only holiday or your big holiday for the year going to Walt Disney World, I think you need to make it as special as you can, or make your money go as far as you can.
Yeah, and as I said, Walt Disney World may do some deals for October bookings, which they haven't announced yet. And if they do, we'll be on the phone to try and take advantage of those and get them to change our booking to that, to take advantage of it.
So I hope this video has been helpful in planning and booking for next year, even if it just gives you some idea about what you can do with air miles, or how much it is to stay at places like Coronado Springs. And
be under no doubt that air miles is not a quick turnaround. If you do the air miles thing, it's a long game.
Yeah.
You are in it, you know, you may not see any benefit for the next year to 18 months. Yeah. But it's about trying to maximise those points as much as you can by taking advantage of the additional points that are on offer from shopping, and also those bonus miles should it work out for you financially. It's not about bankrupting yourself just to get yourself on a better flight. You might as well just save your money, put it towards the flight in the first instance, rather than
chasing the air miles.
Chasing the air miles and getting yourself into any kind of debt.
So anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up.
If you've got any questions, then by all means leave them in the comments and we'll try and answer them.
Yeah.
And all the websites that we made reference to, we'll leave details in the website. We'll leave details in the comments below.
And we're by no means experts in travel or our advice should always be checked with proper professionals who know what they're talking about.
No, I mean, this is just how we do it. If
Yeah.
we get it wrong, we get it wrong. Yeah.
But please do go and check for yourself. But we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.